Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hope you guys are having a good evening. Come on in. Welcome. So, hello. Welcome to Q&A with Dr. Mercy. I'm Dr. Mercy, and we are going to talk again about a medical topic of concern. It is breast cancer. So, we are going to finish part two of the testimony that a patient, well, actually, not really a patient, a person living with breast cancer, Mrs. Toni Fowler, had to say when it came to her diagnosis and her management of breast cancer. And she has such a positive outlook on how she took it and how she continues to take it. So it's a great testimony that I thought we should just continue it and just see what she has to say. So, welcome everyone. Hope you guys had a great day and a good week as well. Where are you guys viewing me from? Could you please jot it down in the comments section? I always love to see where everyone is located and how far our community extends. So if you could, just jot it down in the comments section and I will see it. Okay. Um, so, again, this is October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so I decided that I wanted to take the whole month just to kind of talk about breast cancer because it's the most common type of cancer in women. And it's really important, especially those who are minorities, Black women in particular, that we know what are the signs of breast cancer, where, what should we do to prevent our risk of breast cancer. Now, I'll talk about preventing the risk of breast cancer again during this episode, but the signs and the symptoms of breast cancer, we'll leave that till next week, okay? So, like I said, breast cancer is the most common cause of cancer in women. And typically, the median age, meaning the average age in which people get it, is at age 62. However, some people may be diagnosed a few years earlier, and some people may be diagnosed a few years later. We have seen people who've been diagnosed in their 30s, 40s, or in their late 60s. And this all depends on your risk factors. If you have a family history of breast cancer, you would definitely want to be aware of that because, for example, if your auntie had breast cancer at 45, that means before 45, preferably in your 30s, you should seek a physician and let them know that you have a history of breast cancer. Even probably even before your 30s, in your 20s, you should seek a physician and let them know you have breast cancer because you want to start monitoring it early. With every kind of disease, early detection is key. So, any family history of cancer in general, you should really let your doctor know. But in particular with breast cancer, any um, any family history of that, you should let your doctor know as soon as possible. Black women, fortunately, have the highest rate of death associated with breast cancer. And you may be asking why. Well, it's because Black women tend to have a high prevalence of a type of breast cancer that's very aggressive. It's called the triple negative breast cancer. Very aggressive. When you get it, it spreads fast, and there's a high chance of fatality with this type of cancer. And so, unfortunately, Black women, we tend to get that type of cancer. And therefore, that's the reason why Black women have the highest rates of death from breast cancer. So, how do we prevent it? Well, you prevent it by getting a mammogram. And a mammogram is pretty much an imaging of your breast. The American Cancer Society really suggests that by your 40 to 45, excuse me, by your 40 and up until 44, consider getting a breast screening done, aka mammogram, and they really leave it to the patient whether or not they want to start around that age period. But definitely after 40, not definitely 45 and after, you definitely want to start getting breast screening in the form of mammogram after that. And mammograms, you should typically get them annually. Definitely, if you have any symptoms in regards to your breast, such as you notice discharge, you notice, uh, redness or any type of color of your breast, you notice tenderness, you notice swelling, definitely get that checked out. But for screening purposes, start considering it around age 40, definitely by 45, actually get a mammogram. Okay. So, we again, like I said, we can talk more about what are the signs of breast cancer, how, what are the symptoms of breast cancer, and maybe also we'll talk about some of the treatment options as well next week. But this week we're going to talk and finish. Well, we're not really going to talk. We're going to just finish watching part two of the interview that Dr. David Ajibade had with Mrs. Toni Fowler. Now, Dr. David Ajibade, he's the CEO of the Brain and Body Foundation. Some of y'all already know him because he's been on this BWE platform. He had his own show here, and he's also been interviewed by the founder of BWE, Dr. Jacqueline King. So he brings a plethora of medical knowledge, and in this particular interview, he interviews Mrs. Toni Fowler, and she gives just tips on what she does and what she's continuing to do with her breast cancer. Um, and so let's just tune in. Before we tune in, though, if you have any comments or questions, particularly questions and positive comments, please feel free to jot them down on the comment section. Greatly appreciate it, and we will discuss them next week. So if you have any questions, jot them down. All right, without further ado, let us listen to Mrs. Toni Fowler.
In my fasting, I drink 1 or 2 green drinks, protein drinks, and I feel really good. And then about 5 o'clock, I usually have a big green salad. And some days I have clean meat with that, organic, grass-fed meat.
Yeah.
And I just feel so good all the time. So let me tell you this. When I left the ER, they gave me strong pain meds, right? And I took those for about 3 weeks. And then I realized I was having no more pain. And since I was 3 weeks into this journey, sometime early May, I haven't taken pain pills or anything because I feel no more pain. I have
Wow.
amazing energy from the way I'm eating and drinking. I feel better than I've ever felt my whole life. And I started having pains about 55 years old in my life, arthritis in my hands and feet, and other aches and pains. And now that I have been eating like this, I just don't have any more pain anywhere. I never feel pain. And
That is
so
crazy.
I know I started chemo 4 weeks ago, and they're having me take the 1 chemo pill a day for 3 weeks on and then 1 week off. And tomorrow I complete my first 4-week cycle. And they did my blood numbers today, ran my blood to make sure my white blood cell count isn't too high. And they said, your numbers look fantastic. And your cancer marker of where the tumors are looks fantastic. Keep doing what you're doing. Okay, I got to tell you one other thing. When I was initially diagnosed, remember I said I had pain in my ribs? 3 broken ribs at that point because the cancer had encroached on the ribs and simply broke them. And so I'm leaning over, taking care of David every day, all day long in the hospital with these 3 broken ribs. Then my rear started hurting so bad, my tailbone. Every step I took, that was so about every step I took for weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, I hurt so badly. And I learned that the cancer was so bad in my tailbone that they told me if I didn't get surgery imminently, that there was a compression going on because of the cancer. They said, until we can get you your appointment with the surgeon, if your legs ever go numb or weak on you, within 48 hours, if you don't get in for that surgery, you'll be paralyzed for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Even when I heard that, I'm like, oh, bullarky, I'm not going to be paralyzed, and I'll get in there by the time I need to. And I just had so much peace through the whole process. I knew the Father was taking care of me. I was doing the huge thing I knew I could do. And I kept examining my heart and asking the Lord if there's anything he wanted to show me, but I knew it was my diet mostly. And so as I was doing that, I believed the Lord was going to take care of me. So when I finally got my big MR, my 2.5 hour MRI, and then I saw the surgeon, he said, you don't even need surgery anymore. You don't have any issue here. He said, whatever you're doing, you keep doing, because you're in fantastic shape. He didn't say to me, the cancer's gone. He just said, you don't need surgery whatsoever.
Wait, back up. So what happened to the 3 spots in your spine?
I don't know exactly, because by the time the MRI, I told you, after they did the MRI, my report said I had lesions, unlimited lesions, it said. Unlimited lesions of cancer all over.
Unlimited.
Unlimited. I think that was the word they used. But by the time the surgeon looked at my MRI results, he said, you don't need surgery. So,
that's crazy.
I don't know. My pain just quit hurting in my tailbone. I feel no pain anywhere. That's what I can.
So that is amazing. So remind us again, what was the kind of cancer you had? The tissue diagnosis.
Where do I have that written down?
We know it wasn't triple negative.
It's not triple negative. It's something. One thing is negative, one thing is positive. When we hang up, I'll find it. I saw it today somewhere in my phone. I have a hair, and I can't remember it, but I can send it to you, and you can put it in the note later if you want.
Yeah,
but
sure.
They never gave me a name. I said, what kind do I have? And one thing is a positive and one's a negative. I will tell you, I'm on a hormone blocker along with my chemo pills. And I have believed from day one, I just wouldn't experience side effects. So I haven't. I've had no side effects of either one of those things.
What kind of side effects do they say you should watch out for?
Oh, please. The list was so daunting. My husband said, I don't think I'm allowed to sleep with you anymore. He wasn't even talking about making love. He didn't think he should be in the same bed with me. It made me sound so horrific, because it said, if I throw up, whoever my caretaker is, while I'm taking care of my husband, right? Whoever my caretaker is needs to double glove and protect and wear a face mask and everything to clean up my throw up. Well, there were so many symptoms. There were 36 side effects that could happen, any one of which could have ruined my life, made me feel horrific.
And you didn't have any of them?
No, none.
Okay, that's amazing. But you did say that there were times when you slacked off, or you ate what you weren't supposed to eat, and you felt a little bad after the treatment.
Oh, okay. So, I'm used to a couple of pieces of sourdough bread a day or something. So I would go 2 weeks with no bread, which for me is humongous. And then, no, sourdough never really bothers me now. Now, about every 2 weeks, I have a piece of sourdough slathered with roasted garlic. And I tease that I have a little sourdough bread with my garlic, because I know garlic is so good to fight cancer. But whenever I decide, and I'm so much more intentional, right? Everything I eat and drink, I pray and go, Lord, can I do this night or whatever? But if I do anything I really know I shouldn't, I feel it. I just feel it. I don't like how I feel. If I have a dessert, if I have a little piece of dessert that I know I shouldn't, I just don't like the way it makes me feel. If I have I've never been lactose intolerant. And now if I drink any regular milk, or it's even in a recipe, it makes my stomach cramp. So now it's like my body really likes when I do it right. And when I don't, it tells me.
So let's talk about that. So that could help people, because I know we talked about in generalities a little bit. We know you to avoid sugar. You take lots of more veggies than fruits because fruits have more sugar.
So I'm also avoiding bread and carbs a lot because that converts to sugar.
Right. That's a big point. What else converts to sugar?
Fried food, which I used to love. Every 3 or 4 days, I'd have egg rolls or Cane's chicken, or something like that, Chick-fil-A. And so I don't do that anymore.
So no more fried food.
I used to be a big coffee drinker. I've drank 4 cups of coffee every day of my life since I was pregnant with my first. That's when I cut down to 4 cups. In college, I drank 10 cups a day. Through all this, I backed off to about 1 time a week. I have a couple of cups of coffee. I don't put cream in it. And I used to drink wine maybe 4 or 5 nights a week, 1 glass. Now I have it maybe once a week. So just anything that can go to sugar or contribute to acid in my system, I stay away from. I also drink a high alkaline water now that I know is helping me tremendously.
Okay, great. And I know I sent you the Fast Blast that has the veggies and the fruits. I think it's more like veggies than anything else. Did you notice any difference with that?
Fast Blast.
The powder I sent you.
Oh, confession. I haven't started yet. I'm still drinking a green drink that I got at an IV nutrition center that I went to. They put me on a green drink, and I'll be finished with it in the next 2 or 3 days, and then I'm getting on your green drink.
Okay. It's more than the green drink. It has the greens in it. It has some specific kinds of fruits, and it has the enzymes, and it has probiotics. So it's like a complete.
I can't wait to get on it. I'll be doing it this week, and I'll let you know.
Someone from Nigeria called me. He's had major stroke, and she said, her husband has. So she calls me, and she's like, this was the one thing of all the things that I recommended for them. That was the one thing that he said give them so much more energy. This guy is stroke and paralyzed from a stroke, but he said that helps him to go through his physical therapy even more. Okay,
I'll be on it this week. So will David, and we'll report in next week.
No, those are 2 different things. Fast Blast is for you. The cardio for the heart is for David.
Yes, but if you're saying it helped your friend with the stroke,
yeah,
should I be sharing it with David too?
I guess.
I still have a couple of little things we're working on because of his stroke. So if you know it can help him, I need to help him too.
Oh, there's no question it will help him.
Okay.
So yes.
But he is drinking the cardio you gave him every day.
Okay. Fantastic. Good. You were going to ask him how that went, or whether it made any difference, energy-wise or anything? Did you ask him?
I haven't really asked him. He's in a different part of the house. If he comes around, I'll ask him. But I will tell you, he's changed his whole routine over it. He used to get up out of the bed. As you know, he's still eating through a stomach tube because he lost a couple of muscles ability to swallow with the strokes, but he's getting better and better, and he's swallowing food every day now, more and more. But he would get up first thing in the morning and feed himself through his stomach. Well, now he gets his heart drink in, goes, sits outside. He's supposed to take an hour before he eats anything. So he has quiet time, and I'm so grateful. I've been trying to get him out there to do that for a long time.
Somebody listening will say, wow, he's eating through a tube. He's probably he's probably not doing much with his life, but he officiated your son's
wedding last weekend.
And
he and I are taking a little vacation this week. We got a free vacation to Branson. And he gets out and does everything he's ever done. But he does have a tube hanging from his stomach.
Wow. Check that out. Okay, that's great. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the daily attitude. What are there some routines or things that you try to practice? And I know you're probably going to say gratitude and one other things. So let's go with that. Let's talk about that.
I would love to share that. I learned a long time ago that I like my own self better when I walk at peace in my own heart with me and with everybody around me. So I've learned to fight anything that takes my peace. And the main way I honestly do that, when people have things happen in their life that they don't understand and they don't feel in control of, the natural tendency is to run away from Father God. And I have learned with everything I go through to run to him. And I'm very honest and real with him. When we first got married 38 years ago, I used to be so honest that I'd cuss and yell at God and tell him what I thought. And my husband was like, listen, really, that's not okay. He deserves our honor and is worthy of our respect all the time. So I learned to quit cussing at him, but I'm still very, very honest with him about anything I am aware I am thinking or feeling. I don't try and hide anything. And there's a scripture in the Bible that says, be still and know that I am God. So I go to him with everything I'm ever struggling with. I pour it out there in all my honesty, the contents of all of it, good, bad, and indifferent. And then I sit quiet and still. And I say, now what, Lord? You meet me. You give me your heart. You give me your thoughts. You give me your perspective. And he comes in every time. And he changes everything for me. I mean, it only takes minutes, but every time as I sit before him quiet and still, and I put my heart on him and I seek him, he changes everything. Sometimes he may speak a word or a line to me. Other times he just all of a sudden floods me with peace I didn't have minutes before. So I think everything we think and feel is there for us to acknowledge. And it's really important we deal with what we think and feel. So often people just sweep it under the rug. Well, that's not good for your health. But as we be honest, then he can come honestly to us and make the difference that only he can make, but that he's so good at making. And so that is how I walk in peace. And every day, there's just always horrific stuff going on in our world, in our life, with whatever good is going on. And I choose every day of my life to walk in joy, that whatever happens, I'm going to find the joy in the situation. That's where I choose to park, because I don't like feeling terrible. I don't like to feel yucky. I don't like to be distraught. And you know what? That's a choice. We choose peace and trust and joy, or we choose to be swamped in negativity, depression, whatever. It really is a choice. Do you know that faith and trust are the same force in the world as doubt and fear? They both activate equal powers. Do you want God and all the heavenlies working for you? Or do you want to release the horrificness of what can happen in your life? It's what you choose. And so I just learned that a long time ago. And through this whole thing, I have not parked a couple of times, honestly, for 2 or 3 minutes. I'm led to tears. I need to cry over something. The day that I got my MRI results that said I had unlimited lesions, it wasn't that day, but the next morning in my quiet time, that hit me overwhelmingly. And I just started crying. It lasted 2 minutes. And the Lord said to my heart, I told you I'm healing you. That's all you need to know. So that's where I choose to park. We choose where we park our hearts.
Amen.
And so I encourage everybody, be honest with all your thinking and feeling. Journal if you're not used to doing that. And then let the Lord make a difference in your heart.
And that's a good point too, because I've known you for many years, Toni. You are naturally a positive, effulgent, wonderful, sunshiny kind of person. There are others who may not come so easily to them. So you mentioned something already. You try to get it diary and then write things down. That helps a little bit too. And I just wanted to say another quick point. You lost both your parents. It just occurred to me now. You lost both your parents to cancer.
Yes.
And there are many people who have lost people with cancer, they've lost people to cancer in their families, that image is so strong in their minds about what their parents went through that it seems to overpower whatever kind of positive thoughts they're trying to create in their minds. So what would you say to help such people?
Let's learn what we can from our parents' mistakes without holding those mistakes against them. I've learned all kinds of things from my mom's life and my dad's that I can do differently. And so I'm not expecting the same results my parents had. You know,
Okay.
we
So
do not
there's not warfare
have to
in
be
there.
locked into what's happened to our parents. We can rise above that.
Right. So what I would say to people, I mean, I say this a lot too, is that once those thoughts start coming, don't let them park. I like that word. Don't let them park. Don't let that thing park in their minds. And I usually say you have to vocalize, say things like, I reject it. I'm going to stay healthy. I'm going to maybe say how long you're going to live. Nothing less than 80, of course, because at 80 to me, that's the basic minimum any human being should be living for in this 21st century. So that's what I say. I mean, you can accept anything after 80, nothing before 80. And I feel people need to vocalize a lot more than just keeping quiet.
Because your body lines up with that. Exactly. Your body lines up with what you tell it and believe. And so I decided, with where my kids are, that within 25 years, we will probably have all our grandkids born. We'll be having great grandkids, but all our grandkids should be born in the next 25. So I just told David, he was in the hospital and I was diagnosed. I said, we both have to live 25 more years. Both of us.
85 then. 85 then, right?
Exactly, because I don't want to live without him. He don't want to live without me. And I said, then that's our bottom line. We're living 25 years and that's what we're telling our bodies we have to do. And
fantastic.
So, you know, my body just follows along what I tell it. I mean,
absolutely.
It's bizarre.
I think that's a great example. And I hope people are listening to this. You've got to vocalize these things. If you don't say it, and we now know that science is catching up, and it's like they find out that your immune system actually listens. Obviously, every cell in your body listens to it, to what your words say. But I think your immune system and your brain, more than any other cell in the body, they listen and they respond to what you're saying. And of course, it always helps if you say things with a lot of feeling, a lot of passion, and that helps to lock it in a lot more. So please make it a point, especially if you're going through a very tough warfare, especially with something like cancer or something else like this. Don't be quiet. You gotta speak up. You gotta say things. And if you're looking for words to get from whatever scriptures or whatever holy books you want to read from, there are always positive things you can get those things out from. I think. What do you think about that? Where can I get positive?
You know, do you remember the test? Most people are familiar with it. Of the scientist, I believe he was Asian, who did the test with the water, and he spoke
Japanese guy. Yeah.
You know, our bodies are 70% something water.
Right.
That test revealed so much about how our bodies respond to words.
Right.
Because we are mostly water, and he spoke for 1 month, good things, bad things, and then what's the word I want? No things. There were the third one he just neglected.
Okay.
And so it's not even a matter of you just don't talk about the bad. It's you have to be intentional and make choices and tell your body and your family what you're going to do, what you want, what you're expecting out of this life and how this is going to go. And have your
family tell you the same thing. Get them to start saying the same things. But that helps too, right? If you have support from your
people ask me all the time, how are your kids doing with this? Well, every one of them have been raised the way I feel and think and believe, and they all just believe with me. Every one of them, even after watching my mother go through it horrifically for 5 years, every one of them just believe we're going to be okay. David and I both. We're both going to come through all this stronger. And you know, the truth is, if I die tomorrow, I'm okay with that. I'm ready to die. It's
We're,
not
we're
like
not.
it's
We're
not like
not,
well,
Tony. It's
but
not
it's
time
not
for you to
like
go yet.
it's not like I'm in denial. You know, any of us can go any day. So let's make the most of every day that we have. So I just decide every day I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to love the people in my life, and I'm going to enjoy my life. And whenever I go, it's going to be okay. But I believe I'm going to be here another 25 years.
I believe with you too, and I just want to push back a little bit on that because too many people, and I saw this with treating cancer patients as well. It's like whenever God wants to take me, He's going to take me. I can go anytime. I just want to push back on that a little bit because too many people go to the left of that and they kind of like give up too easily.
Yeah.
And I think we do have agency. We do have to say, and when we go, I don't expect at any time I'm just going to go for whatever reason because I know I've got work to do. I've got a mission to accomplish while I'm on this earth. I haven't done it yet, so I know that I will be protected, and I'm very vocal about it. I'm going to. In fact, there's a part in Proverbs that says that no harm befalls the righteous. I just believe I'm the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. So I constantly confess that. And then this reminds me of World War II, General Douglas MacArthur, one of the great generals of World War II. I remember I read a story about him and his generals who were walking through the woods, and there was enemy gunfire raining around them, and people were running for cover, and they were wondering, "Aren't you going to run away?" And he just seemed totally unperturbed. He was, I think, was smoking his pipe, and he's like, "Well, listen, I've got a job to do on this earth, and God is not going to take me away. God will not let me go away until I finish this." I mean, this was not.
That's
he's
so
not
powerful.
Exactly, he's not like a very church-going kind of person. I'm sure he cussed like a sailor, and he did everything and did everything anybody can think of. But he knew he had a sense of a mission to do on this earth. And he knew that he would have to fulfill that mission. And I think people need to have that same attitude too. I think if you want to
literally, let me say this. If you are ready to go and you want to die, okay, this is your way. If you don't want to, you make that choice.
Right, exactly.
You make that decision. So
people are too passive.
Every person has to weigh for themselves. Do I want to stick around? What am I here for? Why do I want to stick around? How much longer do I want to be here? And I believe we really, our bodies line up with that. Perfect.
Absolutely. I think people are just too passive and too accepting of their fate, whatever it is, especially the negative aspects of their fate, that they don't do anything, they don't aggressively rise up. And that brings us back to what I said at the beginning. If you're dealing with cancer, if you're dealing with any other kind of chronic illness or a life-threatening condition, cancer especially, you are in this fight. You are in the fight of your life for the rest of your life. Don't slack off.
Yeah.
Whatever
you've done, life is worth it. Life is worth it.
Unless, of course, you feel that life isn't worth it, then you can go if you need to, but don't expect and just think that you can be passive.
Yeah.
Especially not now. And then just hope that things will just work out, because most of the time they don't. And I've treated lots of cancer patients to know that that attitude is not going to work. So I got to really commend you, Toni. That's why I wanted us to do this video, because I'm like, this is impressive. What she's writing, what she's going through. Whew. I wish your mom, who I love dearly, the closest friend I think I've ever had in my life, I wish she had the same attitude towards things that you do. And I'm sure you miss her. I miss her a lot too. Yeah. You reminded me, was it 2 days ago that she had was it 1 year since she
1
left?
year ago, she passed.
1 year ago.
2 days ago. Yeah.
Well, I know she's smiling down and watching you and saying, "No, I'm proud of her." She's probably saying, "I wish I had done that myself too." but she's in a better place.
I'm counting on her stay up there. I mean, I'm believing that she is still praying for me, like she's always been so good to do. Mm-hmm. Still need those prayers.
Absolutely. So thank you. I think our time is gone.
Wait, can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
We wrote a book, my husband and I, called Live No Matter What. Can you still hear me? Because I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
We wrote this book. It came out right before COVID. And it has given us so many of the tools that have carried us through and helped us know how to thrive no matter what's going on. It is filled with the principles that have taught my kids. And, we all live real lives like this kind of struggles, but we know how to thrive no matter what. And so we didn't put the book on Amazon yet. We may do that this year. But if
you have a copy of that next to you, anywhere next to you there?
Oh, I should. And I meant to have a copy of it. But the only way you can get it is directly through us. So if you send an email to thrivelifebook@gmail.com, all you have to put in the subject line is book information. I'll send you the 3 or 4 ways you can purchase the book, and you can get it directly from us. So the address again to just drop an email is thrivelifebook@gmail.com. And I'm sorry, I don't have any books handy. I meant to do that and I forgot. But it's an incredible book, I'll tell you what. I've never talked to someone who's read it who didn't love it. It was life-changing.
It is a fantastic book. So maybe we can even do another. I had a clip. I thought I had it somewhere too. It's not here, is it? I just put
it right behind you. The burgundy? No, maybe not. No, that's not it. Okay.
Yeah, I had it somewhere.
We're doing some remodeling, and what I normally have right here on my couch, even I don't have. Things are different in my room.
Did you have you tested for that thing, that little liquid I gave you? Because that's a detoxifier. I remember I told you about the paint and all that. Have you tested for that again?
I did, and God, I still shouldn't do it.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, but just try not to inhale much paint as much as possible. Okay.
Yes, this paint. I will tell you, this paint is latex, and you can't even smell it.
Okay.
There's no smell, so praise God for that.
Okay. Great. All right, I'm going to wrap this up now. I'm just going to do a bookend to the first part.
Sure.
All right, folks. Well, you've heard it all. There's so much rich stuff. I think it's something that you want to listen to and watch over and over again. If you have someone who is going through an ordeal like breast cancer, please share this with them. Okay. This video will be on our website, on our YouTube pages, brainandbodyfoundation.org, on all social platforms. Brain and Body Foundation. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and of course to Toni. thrivelifebook.com, right?
At gmail.com.
thrivelifebook@gmail.com. You can get her a copy of the book. Really rich. I mean, she's had 10 kids, right? I mean, what is it about life that she wouldn't know? What about life has she not seen, So there's definitely a lot to learn from her. So again, Toni, thank you so much for taking this.
It was an honor. It was an honor. Thank you, David.
And we're looking forward to, at the end of the road, just seeing the success. We'll bring you back to really talk about it maybe in a year's time and say how you've achieved remission and the other lessons you've learned and how you've helped so many in the process. Okay, so we're going to make that.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.
All right.
Wow, was that a testimony or what? I just love her positivity. It is just beyond. And this gave me a perspective. Mental health matters. How you position yourself matters. Positive affirmation matters. All of this helps to build your body more stronger and stronger every day, no matter what you're going through. It could be breast cancer, just like she has, or it could be any number of other medical conditions. Positive affirmation is key. Wow. Well, that was it for that wonderful interview. Again, if you have any questions about breast cancer, please jot them down. Even if you have questions about cancer in general, just jot them down in the comment section. And next week, I will talk about breast cancer and what are some of the signs and symptoms. And we may even dabble a little bit with the treatment options and what questions you can you should ask your doctor about when it comes to breast cancer. So tune into that. And I want to thank, first of all, Dr. David Ajibade for allowing me to show this video on our platform. Again, his foundation is the Brain and Body Foundation. So you can go to brainandbodyfoundation.org and check him out and check all his other videos out as well. So I want to thank Dr. David Ajibade. I also want to thank Mrs. Toni Fowler. And remember, she has a book out and talks about positivity in life. So she said, if you want her book, you should go to thrivelifebook@gmail.com, thrivelifebook@gmail.com, put the subject book, and she will reply to you on how to get that book. All right. Well, that's all the time we have. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week. And until next time, actually, bye.